The reason we're focusing on the garment elements, starting at the sewing basically, is because first of all the chain is massive to start with, and there are various different concerns at various points of the chain. Primarily also the garment sector is a labor intensive sector versus the textile sector, which is a highly capital intensive sector. Now the fact that it's labor intensive means it has a huge impact on employment, and it really impacts community development, poverty reduction. So there's a direct impact on really the countries where it's being produced, but also in terms of economic development. So the garment sector would have a much larger impact on people as compared to the textile sector, where it's very driven by the availability for funding and capital.
This was a tragedy, killing more than 1,000 people with a fire and the collapse of the building, following very, very indecent conditions of workers in that place in Bangladesh on the 23rd of April 2013. You see, the interesting of working in this kind of value chain of textile garment is that it brings together a number of different areas. For example, think at the water which is used to wash and treat the cotton and other material. Think at the energy which is used to make the materials, or the renewable energy perhaps that is used. Think at the recycling factor, all material recycled so that no new land is devoted to cotton and so forth.
We think it's key to have good social dialogue. An example is in the field of health and safety. When a factory collapses, then of course you could say, well, this was due to the bad construction of the factory or fire hazards there may have been. But one could also say that if the employees had had a say in the building of the factory and safety surrounding the factory, then they could have flagged that issue way before, so then people could have been saved. We see everywhere that garment workers do not earn much. They may earn a little bit above minimum wage in general in developing countries, but this is not enough. This is not a wage that covers their basic needs. This is not a wage that can help them raise their families. So collectively with other actors and stakeholders, we should try and find solutions for this. We should try and find ways to raise those wages.
Cambodia's legislation on minimum wage is only applicable to the garment and footwear sector, and there's a lot of negotiations about what a living wage is, which I think is actually a very important contribution to Cambodian society about what should be considered a livable wage and a minimum wage. The trade union initiative in Cambodia is still quite young, and they still need a lot of support and capacity to develop their social dialogue mechanisms between the employer and the employees, and to be fully aware of the fact that they're representing the workers. So it's very interesting that most of the union representatives are men, so they don't talk about separate bathrooms for women. Maternity leave doesn't come up so high on their agenda, so it's also a gender dynamic that needs to be addressed.
If we want really, to improve and to make sure that workers in countries such as Cambodia or Pakistan or Bangladesh who are producing for international companies, exporting to the EU for the EU market, at the end of the day, I think the responsibility lies with the consumers. Consumers are to be responsible on what they want to buy and how much they want to put in what they buy. And they will be the one, changing, they will be the game changers at the end of the day, because they will be the one saying, okay, I don't want to buy from there because I know that it has not been produced in a responsible way, and I'm ready to pay €5 more for my t-shirt because I know that in this country it has been produced in a way that respects workers.